Good evening, dear friends. Happy day to all of you. So friends, I have huge news to share with you. The Biden administration is now facing new obstacles in passing new legislation through Congress. The Social Security Administration is also looking at increasing benefits for all recipients. Social Security benefit hikes could bring all monthly beneficiaries an extra $1,800. My friends, please make sure you watch until the end of this video, especially if you are a SSI recipient. To say thank you for joining me here every day, I'm giving away 4 $75 Walmart gift cards every week. Please enter the giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos and then commenting below the keyword of each video that you watch. Friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways.
Inflation is crushing Iowans and the American people. And it's not just gas prices. The price of groceries and school supplies continue to rise, hurting our families just as children are going back to school. But instead of addressing the rising cost of everyday goods, Democrats in the Biden administration continue to push for more legislation that will make these problems worse. The Inflation Reduction Act, which I like to call the Income Reduction Act, did nothing to help Iowans who are struggling to make ends meet. Instead, several $100 billion will be spent to fund partisan pet projects like doubling the size of the IRS. And less than 2 weeks after the Income Reduction Act was signed into law, President Biden announced his student loan forgiveness plan, which will cost hard-working Iowans and Americans even more. We need to increase domestic energy production to lower energy prices and curb our dependence on other nations, and we need to enact policies that allow Americans to keep more of their hard-earned paychecks. Inflation, unlike what you saw this weekend on 60 Minutes, where it was poo-pooed and downplayed, inflation is an issue every single American is facing right now. And the Biden administration has made it abundantly clear that fixing the problem is not a priority. Thank you, and I will now yield to Representative Tony Gonzalez from Texas.
A bigger inflation, boosted Social Security check, and hope for some relief from the headaches caused by high prescription costs are on the horizon. And for many retirees, the budget relief cannot be quick enough. Inflation is brutal for lower-income consumers, including millions of retirees who do not have any or much savings to tap into, as the cost of gas, energy, groceries, and rent climb higher and higher due to surging inflation. Those collecting Social Security benefits can look forward to a Social Security payout that is roughly 8% to 9% higher in 2023, and it's based on early estimates. On average, a retiree could see about an extra $150 a month if there is a 9% cost of living adjustment to Social Security for next year. That is based on an example of current benefits of about $1,656 a month. A cost of living adjustment in this example would be an additional $1,800 a year. This will be one of the highest COLAs ever paid in history of the program. That's predicted by Mary Johnson, a Social Security policy analyst for the Senior Citizens League. Based on Consumer Price Index data for the year through July, the COLA adjustment could be around 9.6% if inflation continues at a similar pace. If inflation cools down more in the months ahead, the adjustment would drop and could end up at 8 to 9% range. Only 2 months of consumer price data, which is August and September, are left to go for the adjustment to be calculated. The September data is to be announced October 13th by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The inflation adjustment for Social Security benefits was very high at 5.9% in 2022. The cost of living adjustment began with benefits payable to more than 64 million Social Security beneficiaries in January 2022. But you would have to go back to 1980 for any inflation adjustment that would be 9% or higher. The highest COLA was 14.3% in 1980. Economists have said that the deepest impact of inflation has been felt by those older adults who are not bringing home any paycheck, even a small one, as well as seniors who do not have a pension or any savings. While an inflation adjustment for Social Security benefits helped this year, Based on 2021 data, it did not reflect all the continued inflationary pressures in 2022. Richard Johnson, the director of the Program on Retirement Policy at the Urban Institute, said, "No one can say for certain how much Social Security benefits will increase in 2023. Friends, that is why it is extremely important that our lawmakers take action very soon to address this issue." Friends, the key word for this video is Mount Blackburn. If you would like to enter tomorrow's Walmart gift card giveaway, please do make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below this keyword, which is Mount Blackburn, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you are subscribed to my channel. Remember, friends, that the more videos that you watch and then leave a comment on, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. President Biden's approval rating has also reached its highest level since last December. A new survey that was just published found that 46% of all respondents approve of the job that Biden is doing as U.S. president. 85% of Democrats who were surveyed currently approve of the job that President Biden is doing, while only 10% of Republican respondents agree with the same statement. A similar Morning Consult poll in early June showed that 39% of respondents approved of the job that President Biden was doing as our president, which marked an all-time low for him. But recently, Biden and his administration have seen a slew of legislative victories, which include the passing of his climate, healthcare, and tax package, and the announcement of an initiative to cancel student loan debt for millions of Americans. When asked in the new survey about the upcoming midterm elections, 46% of registered Democrats said they will vote in November, compared to 41% of registered Republicans. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts currently on the Biden administration? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Well, my great and beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this evening. Thank you so much, friends, for joining me here every day and watching all of the videos I post. I greatly appreciate all of you for doing so. The winner of yesterday's Walmart gift card giveaway is Helen Burton. Congratulations, my dear friend. To claim your gift card, please check your notifications page and send me an email. Or you can also send me a message on my Facebook page. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful and blessed evening.
But we've made progress from the days when it was over $5. We're moving in the right direction. And incidentally, this president has created more jobs than any president in a similar period in the history of the United States. Do we have challenges? You bet we do. But to write this administration off as unproductive is to ignore the obvious. We came out of this pandemic. And when we did, we faced the problems that nations around the world were facing. Literally, could we deal with inflation? Demand was pent up, and it overwhelmed the services and goods that were available, and inflation started to rise. It took its toll, and still does, on American families. But to ignore what we've been able to do is to really turn our backs on reality. What about that rescue plan, the American Rescue Plan? I remember it, and I remember there wasn't a single Republican voting for it. Almost 20% of the American Rescue Plan went to state and local governments to deal with issues like crime, to make safer streets and safer neighborhoods for Americans across the board. That's the kind of money well spent. And yet the Republicans wouldn't give us a single vote, and you heard the senator from Kentucky deriding it at this moment as a waste of billions of dollars. It's money well spent, and I found out personally, firsthand, when I went back in my state over the August recess. I didn't just confine myself to the blue areas of the state, and there are big ones and big part of our state, and I'm happy to visit there. I went to some of the redder sections of our state, the areas that voted for Donald Trump in the last election over Joe Biden. I don't do particularly well there either, but I wanted to visit with them, and I felt that there were things I needed to learn about what families and communities were facing. I went to Herrin, Illinois, the southern part of our state, where my family has its roots. And I went to the Southern Illinois Healthcare, which is a major healthcare consortium serving most of downstate Illinois, rural, small town America, struggling with providing professional medical care, but doing a fine job. We have something called congressionally directed spending now, used to be known as earmarks. I'm unapologetic about it. I believe that if you make a public disclosure of these earmarks, justify them, taxpayers understand this is federal money being brought home from Washington to their states and communities where it's needed. So I went to Heron, Illinois, where we were able to announce an earmark of $1 million, which is going to provide for about half the cost of a new physical rehab facility. Critically important. I met some interesting people there. I met a little fellow, 4 years old, who was a victim of cerebral palsy. His name was Maverick. Maverick had a big smile on his face, was there at the rehab center to introduce me to the nurse that's been working with him. Strong, courageous little fellow, the pride of his family, the kind of courage he's showing. Now he has a rehab facility that is world-class in his region, in his neighborhood. The alternative, drive to St. Louis. You hear that over and over again in that part of the state. We just don't have it here. We have to drive to St. Louis. When it comes to rehab services for Maverick, kids like him and adults as well, they now have a fighting chance to get something local. And let me add, another fellow was there with the name of Riley Baird. Riley's a high school student, and he's an amazing kid himself. He's a Boy Scout, and I used to be a Boy Scout a long, long time ago. He had that sash with all the merit badges on it. I think I had 5 of them when I finally quit. He must have had 50, maybe 100. He had them all on his way and passed as an Eagle Scout. He decided to make that rehab clinic his project. He and his family built some toys that the kids are using there, and he was there to accept the recognition and praise he deserved. He has a brother named Corbin, twin brother named Corbin, also